mainstream. the planet where you and I are still meant to be. 'Cause I'm incomplete when you ain't by my side, when you don't wake up next to me. Yeah, I'm incomplete. I need you here tonight to cover up these empty sheets. 'Cause I'm incomplete. I'm incomplete. I need you here tonight to cover up this empty sheets. 'Cause I'm incomplete.
Good afternoon, League fans, and welcome to the last day of week 4 here in the BSGCS presented by Duo Esports. I am your host and play-by-play caster for the first game of the day, Yeso, and joining me on the desk for some colorful commentary for our start of the broadcast, my good friend Fridge. Fridge, welcome to the desk on this beautiful Sunday. How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Woke up, had myself a nice bowl of Wheaties, and I'm ready for a hell of a cast here as we kick things off with Aether Esports versus Kiss Gaming.
Aether versus Kiss Gaming, indeed. A couple teams sitting toward the bottom of the standings. Kiss Gaming looking for their first win, and Aether looking to add a second to their total. Certainly a game that could go either way. Do you have any predictions for this game, or...
I mean, if I was
fun?
Yeah, I would expect some fun stuff. When teams are at the bottom of the standings like this, you tend to see them a little more willing to risk things with non-traditional drafts, bringing out some spicy picks. So I would be surprised if we didn't see something a little out of the norm in the draft phase, but we'll have to see. If I was a betting man, I'd have to put my money on Aether. I actually predicted their upset win over EG, and I think something that we did discuss a little bit here before we went live is the fact that Aether has been fairly consistently able to build leads in a lot of their games, but they just haven't figured out how to close it out. But I have confidence against, a struggling team like Kiss that Aether should be able to build another one of those early to mid-game leads and hopefully be able to figure out how to close things out. But we'll have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, certainly Aether has looked like they've been a team that can build leads. It's a matter of holding it, though, and they haven't been the most consistent at that, which leads me to believe they maybe aren't the best at their late-game shot calling. So that could potentially be a point where Kiss could look to take advantage of. I think we are just about ready here to jump into our champion select here.
Yeah, should be just a few moments. Just want to remind everybody as we are about to get into draft, if you guys want to continue to support us here at Duo Esports, the easiest ways to do that is to come out and watch us every week. And if you do want to get notified when we are going live, make sure to follow and subscribe. Those buttons that are at the top of your screen. If you want to consider donating to the league, that button is down in the description. And make sure to check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at Duo Esports, and I believe on Instagram as well at Duo Esports. So make sure to check that out and come, join the Discord server. Come hang out with us. Get to know Fridge, myself, and everybody else involved in the league. But as we are into draft here, Aether Esports on the blue side, going to hit you with that roster rundown with Dewey in the top lane. Soberket is their jungler. Arta in mid, Phantom at the bot lane position, and Tiger KG rounds up that Aether Esports lineup.
And then on the red side of the map, we're going to have Kiss Gaming. In the top lane, we have Tranquillo. Jungler is Dazaran. Mid lane, Kono. The AD carry is Name Not Found, and his support will be Selmy. Really shouldn't say AD carry anymore. It could be just bot laner.
Really, it's just not as much of an applicable term anymore. As we are into that first ban phase, Trundle and the Katarina so far banned away by Aether Esports, and the Kaisa banned away by Kiss Gaming. Kaisa, one of those trio of the top-tier marksmen that's still in the meta right now. Her, Ezreal, and Lucian. We'll have to see if Kiss wants to throw any more bans towards Phantom here.
Yeah, and actually, the thing about Kaisa is she can go pretty decently into the mid lane as well.
Or even jungle.
I have seen it a few times in the jungle as well. I even saw it in top lane a few times, but not as much up there. Definitely a pick that could go all over the place. And as you mentioned, one of the stronger actual marksmen still within this game. Rakan also will be taken off the board from likely Tiger. Haven't really seen that in the mid lane anymore. That was just kind of a 1 or 2 week wonder there on that. Orianna as well removed. Kono could have a lot of team fight pressure with that shockwave, so don't want that. as the clock ticks down on the last band, we see Camille taken off of the board. I know, I know that's kind of become a flex pick as well, with these bot laners starting to take like bruisers. And honestly, I know Dory K, aka Ignorant, aka I guess I don't know what the Diamond 5 that isn't a Diamond 5, but whatever. He's big brain. He's big brain. He likes to play that Camille's jungle, but
memes aside, we are into the first pick phase, and the first locket for the blue side is the Nocturne here. Interesting selection has popped up more in the meta as of late, and that one for Briquette. What are your thoughts on taking Nocturne with a first pick? Do you feel like that was really necessary to grab it that early?
Probably not necessary to grab it this early, but I think that they're maybe trying to hold off on picking their solo laners until a little bit later on to potentially give them a little bit more favorable of a matchup. Trinkio does lock in the Shen, could go top, could go support. More often than not, I've seen it top, but certainly still not a slouch at support. I think it's a little less likely to go support in this meta because of the fact that he's not he'll block auto attacks with his W, right? Which is great against like an AD carry. But if you're going up against a bruiser, they utilize abilities as well. I mean, more so than an AD carry would. You don't get as much usage out of it there. But I mean, you go up against bruisers in the top lane with Shen from time to time anyways, so it's still not a bad pick if it is where they choose to run it. Kane also will be locked in from the Kiss Gaming roster. That one will likely go to the jungle. I can't say, like, see, every time I say something like, oh yeah, that's their jungler or whatever, they're just going to switch it over on me and mess with me. But it very likely will be the jungle picked up here. Rise and Thresh locked in from Aether here.
And for some of that late, the last pick here by Kiss. I love that champion. Has not been really relevant in the meta for a very long time, but can bring a ton of crowd control, a ton of like stalling power in team fights as well. Especially when you get that Zhonya's, you can combine her ultimate and the Zhonya's to just buy so much time for your team.
Right, and Lissandra, a lot of CC that she can bring to the table as well. I like her passive in the lane phase as well, able to spam some abilities a little bit more frequently at the cost of no mana. I believe it's 15-ish seconds at level 1, and then it goes down throughout the game, down to like 8 or something like that. But doesn't necessarily require the early game mana as much, so she can get through that lane phase, clear waves a little bit more easily. So now other bans coming out here. We have Kled, and I've really taken off the board from Kiss Gaming. So far, Ezreal has been taken off by Aether. And it seems as though Kiss is targeting Dwayne. I know Dwayne likes his Kled. I'm not sure that I'm not sure about the Irelia. As that one could pretty much go anywhere, so that could just be kind of a nice little multi-person targeted ban there. And on the other side, Aether targeting away the AD carry pool from Name Not Found, taking away the Lucian and Ezreal. Twitch being hovered currently. Not one of the most popular AD carries right now, but certainly can put out the damage in a team fight if he's left unchecked.
Yeah, solid bit of team fighting set up by Kiss with the Lissandra and Twitch combination, and they've got the Shen for some protection there. I'm curious what kind of support they want to combine with that and go kind of full team fight. Kane doesn't necessarily fit that mold entirely, but Red Kane can just, deal with a lot of damage coming his way, survive for a long time, and kind of be a disruptor, especially when he gets the CC in those team fights. Aatrox is picked up by Either Esports, starting to round out this composition, just waiting for most likely their bot lane selection. They are going to hover the Vayne. The Rise certainly can go bot, but it is going to be that Vayne for Phantom, so we'll see Arta on the Rise.
Yeah, and I like the idea to pair your Thresh with the Vayne down here. I mean, Thresh, a pretty good support regardless, but Vayne with the pretty low mobility. Nice to have that Lantern that can come in and save a champion like that. On the other hand, looks like we're waiting for a support here, and it will be Bard actually locked in there from Selmy.
Man, if you get Lysandra ultimate, then Zhonya's, then Bard ultimate on top, it's going to be very difficult to kill Kono in these fights. He's just going to be able to buy so much time here. We do have these compositions finished up here. And it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. Looks like a lot of play around level 6 power spikes here for both of these teams, especially with the Vayne getting access to her ultimate, especially feeling very strong in the 2v2 at that point, and Twitch wanting to get access to that rat-a-tat-tat for these team fights. What are your thoughts on the draft overall, Fridge, as we see what both of these teams will be running with in their game today?
Well, I both like and dislike the Aatrox pick here into a Shen. Shen will be able to block some of those auto attacks in trades, but Aatrox will be able to just queue in and stop Shen from using that Stand United when he tries to save a teammate, if he's within range to do so anyways. So he can have a pretty big impact on the Kiss Gaming potential in a team fight if he's able to cancel that. That being said, that lane really could go either way. The jungle I expect to go mostly in Dazaran's favor, but if Soberkick can utilize the Paranoia once he gets to level 6, if he uses that Paranoia to his advantage, if he optimizes it, they can come out with some pretty good picks, and if he gets a pretty big lead, then it's going to be pretty scary going into the late game. Ryze scales so well. Doesn't necessarily do a lot of damage early on, but scales well, has pretty low cooldowns. And Lysandra, that's going to be kind of a farm lane for a little bit here. Kono's going to be able to put down a little bit more poke here early on. But outside of that, you're going to be seeing Kono probably wait till level 6 before a whole lot happens there. And Art is just going to look to stay safe and farm. Once he hits level 6, he can ult into, bot lane or top lane, his choice. Try to pick up a kill there. Bot lane's probably just going to be a farm lane, actually, barring if Tiger can land a nice little hook and get a pick. But we'll likely see this be kind of a farm lane. Both Twitch and Vayne are going to want to get to the mid to late game where they can be a little bit more useful.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. I like the double teleport set up by Kiss here. Lysandra can be very effective in these teleport plays, especially if, she wants to go to the bottom lane and Phantom and Tiger have pushed up and there's a ward in behind them, can get in there and disrupt a lot of things down there, set up a good little gank there. Ryze will have that map mobility through his ultimate, as you mentioned. Would also like him to have teleport, but it's going to take the ignite for the possible kills in lane. So we'll have to see how that one pans out, but should be done with this spectator delay momentarily. Either in esports facing off against Kiss Gaming, both of these teams sitting at the bottom of their respective groups and looking to grab a win here today to start to build some momentum. We're still very early in the season. These teams have some time to rack up some wins and push their way towards playoffs, but they definitely need to get one today. Both of these teams need this win desperately, and we'll have to see how that desperation manifests in this game.
Yeah, certainly could help these teams' momentum a little bit moving forward in the season. Obviously, neither of these teams, you mentioned plenty of time left in the season. Neither of these teams are out of it, and it's not even the do-all, end-all if they do not win the game here today, but certainly would be helpful for them moving forward. Wins are going to start to mean more and more as we get into the later part of the season. So looks like we are loading up the game now. things to note. Now, okay, we have the Aerie here on Kona's Lissandra. I guess I don't really see too much Lissandra, so I guess I'm not sure. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's bad by any means. But do you think Comet would be better here, or do you think Aerie would offer?
Gosh, and of course I like Lissandra and like to play her, but I haven't even played her that much recently and don't see her almost ever. I think Aerie's fine. Aerie's certainly the more reliable damage there.
Right, absolutely.
So I think it's fine. We'll have to see how it works out in lane, kind of what kind of poke Lissandra can get down onto Arda's Rise, but I think Aerie and Comet are fairly interchangeable when it comes to damage dealing mages like that. You just get the, I guess the trade is you get the more reliable damage, but lower for Aerie, and a little more damage from the Comet, but it isn't as reliable to land. So we'll have to see how it plays out in the later phase.
I guess my main thought on it was with all the CC she's got, Comet might be able to land a little bit more consistently than normal. It's my only thought. I feel like you're really never wrong in grabbing Aerie on one of those champions. So I was just curious on your thoughts. Otherwise, not really anything overly surprising. Hail of Blades here on Name Not Found's Twitch, something that we've seen on Twitch, I would say, more often than any other champions. Haven't really seen it on many other champions other than him, in fact. But helps him get down those poison stacks pretty quickly as well, so...
We are on to the Rift, our first game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Either esports facing off against Kiss Gaming. Both of these teams, again, trying to put together some wins, start to work their way up the standings, as they certainly have their work cut out for them. And we're going to see both of these teams move out onto the Rift. Will we see any spiciness at level 1? Appears to be a line of scrimmage start by Aether.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to probably have line of scrimmage starts both sides of the map here. Not overly surprised by that. Neither of these teams has the greatest level 1. You could maybe rely on Tiger hooking someone and maybe getting a pick that way, but
Kiss sort of misplays the line of scrimmage, though, because they send Dazaran to the top side, revealing that he is most likely to start red buff. The traditional line of scrimmage is you put that jungler in mid lane so they don't reveal what side of the map they're starting on. So Aether, if they're paying attention, should know that Dazaran will start on his red buff here to kick off this game.
Yeah, that's certainly something that they could make note of and possibly look to take advantage of it. But it actually looks like Soberkid's starting at his blue as well, so we'll have both of these junglers starting on the top side. See if we have any fun level 2 ganks here with both of these red and blue buffs being taken here on the top side from these guys. Now, do we get to see them meet at Scuttlecraft here? That's been a point of a lot of emphasis from the jungle lately. Looks like that's not necessarily going to be the case just yet. No one quite rushing there yet.
Yeah, both junglers taking their second camps, and it appears they're both instead going to head over to their second buff, not prioritizing Scuttlecraft this early.
Yeah, and actually interesting here to see Tiger went to the Relic Shield. Certainly not bad on Thresh. It's actually been pretty popular in the past. I feel like I've seen Ancient coin a fair bit more lately. Is that, am I correct in saying that? Or?
Yeah, the thing is the sustain was so heavily cut on Relic Shield for ranged champions. It was cut by 50% for ranged champions, and so that means that you just lose that sustain in lane, and it's already like an unreliable thing for Threshes because you don't get the execution proc on the minions, so you have to be last hitting without building any damage, which is not fun, as Dwayne and Tranquillo are going in pretty aggressively on the top side. Dwayne's going low, but so is Tranquillo. Dwayne has the passive available. It's going to eat a lot of aggro from the minions. Will take him below 200 health, so they'll both survive. But Ancient Coin is just the more reliable early game gold generation, and it's just more efficient. Like, you get that quest more quickly than others. So I certainly always run Ancient Coin on Thresh because I'm already terrible at last hitting, and you're going to make me do it on a support, and it's not going to be a good time. Kono eating a bad trade there from Arta, has to be away from that. Not going to feel too good about that one, taking him about 200 health.
Yeah, now Kono's going to have to be a little bit careful here in the mid lane. Does burn both of his health pods already. Will heal up pretty decently, but the bright side for him is Art is extremely low on mana, whereas actually able to come away with about half of his mana still. That Iceborne really being quite helpful at keeping his mana up right now. We have actually Scuttlecrabs traded pretty much topside. Went over to Silverfish, and the bottom side Jazran here.
Away with a good trade against Tranquillo in the top lane as well.
Yeah, and honestly, even like trades that go even in the top lane still are technically in favor of Dwayne. As he's actually got a lot of
This is landed in the bot lane. Selmy going to take some damage, but Tiger forced the flash away as the Ignite was used by Selmy there. Those supports burning down fairly low, and essentially coming out even in that trade. The 80 carries will just go back to farming, and Tiger does return up to lane. Selmy's going to go grab some chimes. His name not found is just sitting under his tower.
Yeah, Selmy's gonna be able to heal up a little bit more nicely here.
Name not found. Hello.
Maybe.
He was AFK for a moment there. Dazaran does get spotted out by Silvercat in the struggle. They're actually going to go for the duel. Dazaran's going to take a lot of damage here, but Kono has shown up, and that's going to be first blood, though, for Silvercat, as Dazaran goes down. Kono nearly burning from the Ignite. One more tick. That's going to be it. Arta with the kill. That's 2 for Aether Esports.
All right, so early lead here for Aether. A little bit caught out there was Dazaran as Silvercat invaded.
They're not able to follow up the damage in the bot side. Selmy shows up to protect his 80 carry.
Yeah, well played there. Another engage here in the top side from Tranquillo. Does have a pretty decent sized wave behind him to help, but not really anything happening on that trade. The wave just heals up pretty nicely in this top lane. It's with Conqueror the way it is right now, and his built-in sustain on there, with the Bloodthirst.
Oh, Tranquillo could be in big trouble here. That's the ultimate activated by the wave. Flashes in following Tranquillo and grabs the solo kill on the top side. Flash for flash. Gets Aatrox the kill there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Orcus Gaming, an Aatrox that gets a lead is extremely hard to deal with in the current meta. So he's going to be looking like a beast, I guess, going into this mid to late game. Now the question is he going to continue to like split push going into mid game, or is he going to group up with the team? My guess is he's going to try to set up split push, create some pressure that way. I just feel like that's one of the better options on him right now, because it's really hard to deal with Aatrox that's ahead.
Mantha wants to go in aggressively here. Selmy getting a lot of damage. Does just pull through the wall, but here comes Dazaran for the assistance. He's in the wall. He's just going to take the bar portal right back to his Phantom. Didn't eat a lot of damage from the Twitch. Does get lanterned away by Tiger. No deaths in this bot lane fight as we'll go back to farming. Mid laner's going to head back to their lanes to pick up some minion waves, and we'll go back to business. About a 2.5k gold lead right now for Aether Esports. As we mentioned, able to build some of those early gold leads. We'll just have to see if they can finish this one off. Kono going to eat a lot of damage from Arta, has to eat. Into his tower, will escape, but taking about half of his health bar with the damage in that trade.
Yeah, and actually one of the nice things here about this matchup, and I didn't even really think of it like at the time, but for Arta here on this rise, he's actually able to snare Kono while he's using the glacial path to try and stop him from actually getting away and put down more damage onto him. Interesting to see. I mean, interesting but not interesting. Kono started the Seeker's arm guard here.
Uh-oh, Arta's in big trouble in the mid lane, but somebody has come to try and finish him off. He's actually going to grab the kill. Dazarin has to flash away to avoid tower and aggro, but that's going to be a first kill there for Kiss in the mid lane.
All right, so maybe a little bit overkill with the Tempered Fate, but did manage to come in and steal the kill. Got involved with it at the very least. But I was gonna say, Kono starting the Seeker's arm guard, not surprising because he's gonna go for an hourglass. Kind of interesting to see him start that against like a rise. I still like get it, but I just should he have gone like the AP item first is my question. Now I can't remember. No. I don't know. I can't. The name slips my mind right now. But
What
the
name
AP
slips your
portion,
mind?
the AP item, the portion of Hourglass, the AP one that I can't think of because
Seeker's arm guard?
that the other one. Well, Seeker's arm guard. I guess technically you can get anything out of it.
Fiendish Codex?
Yes, Fiendish Codex, correct.
I was gonna say, I was like, Seeker's arm guard has
It does technically have AP. I guess I think it's more as an armor item, like defensive item, but technically, you're not wrong.
I rarely am, Fridge.
Well,
That's why you keep me around.
that part is what you're wrong about, but okay.
Well, back to the game at hand away. He's getting the push going on the top side, keeping Tranquillo under his tower. As Tranquillo is going to go for the Shadow Dash in. A bit of a trade here that is Martha not likely to lose into this Aatrox you mentioned. So strong when he's able to get that lead. Already has the kill, has the Tiamat and double dagger, so he is fine going into trades against this. And here is Selmy does do a little bit of damage there from Phantom. The death sentence from Tiger will miss there as well as the play. That's going to feel bad as Thresh takes a lot of damage to them into the wall there from Phantom. It means Selmy just has to back away, no further aggression onto Tiger's Thresh. Back to the mid lane as Arta and Kono are continuing to farm it out. And Arta out of mana, so probably going to have to back here.
Yeah, now to wait kind of engaging some of these fights here on Tranquillo in the top lane. Coming away
from the bot side, he's got the paranoia ready. Do we see some action here on bot? They're gonna go aggressive. They're going in. There's the Barn ultimate, and there's the paranoia into the team. Silvercat gonna try and get onto Twitch. Is gonna be able to take him down. That's gonna be the kill for Tiger, KG, and Aether.
All right, so a little bit interesting. The Temper Fate dropped and actually stopped the damage from Paranoia and some of the immediate follow-up. At the end of the day, though, it was not enough to help Game Not Found Out, as he did get taken down relatively quickly there after the Temper Fate ended. And it looks like
going for this contract, he's gonna get collapsed on though by Kono. This could be big trouble, and that's gonna be the kill for Kono. Tiger going very low as well. That's the double for the Lysandra, but it might be turned around as Kono goes down. Arta grabbing the kill. Selmy just able to escape, and that's gonna be the Cloud Drake secured by Aether. Tranquillo is here. He's backing, but he's low. He's gotta be careful. He's gonna get condemned into the law, and Arta with the kill. Oh man, Tranquillo. That is just a bad back right there.
unfortunately did not realize he was backing on top of a ward, so did pay for that with his life. A good condemn, and actually these condemns from Phantom have been pretty on point for the most part this game. unfortunately, for Kiss Gaming, they will lose out on the Drake that they started up as well. So about 12-minute Cloud Drake does go over to Aether. And DeWay constantly pushed up here in the top lane.
Arta's down to the bot side. He's going for a name not found. Can he finish the kill? Nearly. But name not found, just able to escape there. The Rise thrown down at 13 minutes, looking for a kill, and Soberket is down here as well. Looks like either wants to push for this first tower, but Kono's got the mid lane going towards either side, looking to take down that tier 1, and Name Not Found and Selmy are still here to defend. There's the ultimate, here comes the paranoia. They're going to get on to Name Not Found, and that's the big Silver Fans, and they go down in return. Jasmine trying to get after him, and Selmy is burning down to the tower. Soberket bashes and is able to grab the double kill, but will go down afterwards to Dazaran. Now Arta trying to chase down Kona in the top side river. Here comes the Shen for the collapse, but Arta able to burn him down with the electrocute. He'll finish off that kill as Tranquillo has to retreat, get away from a very scary Aatrox.
Alright, so action pretty much across the map there. A little bit of a dive there from Aether in the bot lane. Good job from Tiger to get out that lantern to save Phantom from Dazaran on this Pain. However, Sobercat did decide to continue the dive, managed to pick up the kill onto Selmy, died for it in the end. Dazaran did manage to pick that one up. Now we engage in the top, as DeWay is really starting to build a bigger and bigger lead.
Arta could be in big trouble here. Here's Dazaran in the mid lane. The snare on Selmy will slow down that aggression, and Arta going to be just fine. Backs off and going to go to clearing the wave. They've dropped the Rift Herald here in the mid, and that is easily going to be this tower for the side of either esports. They can look even for the tier 2. They've got a little bit of a minion wave, and still another charge on the Rift Herald. It's going to take away about half of its health. Tiger is here, does land the death sentence on to Kono. Can he stun him long enough? The ultimate isn't going to save Kono, but he does have the Zonias. Will buy a little bit of time, but does go down. Away as he shows up in the mid lane. Name Not Found, and Phantom on the bottom side as well. Phantom possibly going for the kill. Is stealth condemns away, isn't able to get the stun, but it doesn't matter, he gets the kill. On to Name Not Found, and they're still pushing in mid lane. Away in Arta, still here with the minion wave. They want to take down this tower. It's going to take a little bit of work. Selmy's got some wave clear here. He's going to get snared though, and burns down. Electrocute finishes Arta's 5th kill of the game.
Alright, some more action here happening, and that one kind of started with this mid lane dropping the Herald. Did take the first tower, no issues whatsoever, and a couple members there from Kiss Gaming stepping up a little bit too much in that mid lane, getting caught out by some of those snares from Arta. And then just a 1v1 well played there from Phantom in the bot lane to pick up that kill on Name Not Found. So he's actually sitting kind of quietly at 1-0-4 this game. Like, not too much out of him yet, but he's sitting really good for this game at 104. He's farming up about 50 CS so far ahead of Name Not Found. Looks to be sitting in an extremely good spot going into this weekend.
Yeah, already has his latest Rune King finish, has his second recurve though, could be going for the second item, possibly? We'll have to see what he does build. Name Not Found. Pop! Goodbye. The rat goes down, and Mark just goes to space. A lot of gets killed. We're going to get right in the jungle. So Kick goes low, is able to take down the photo, and drops through right after. And Dazaran Selmy is going to throw out the ultimate. Flashes come out from either as they don't want to go into the stasis there. They'll back away. Come back now into the jungle, however. There are some wards, and Dazaran and Selmy might be in trouble here. Ooh, good death sentence from Tiger over the wall. He's going to go in. Good play on the 3, and here comes Phantom. Tiger is burning down as Tranquillo tries to beat him up, but Tiger's just going to be able to escape, and Tranquillo goes down. Now Dazaran has to escape. He gets condemned into the wall, and he's going to go down to Arta. He is so huge right now. 7-1-2 on the rise in either esports. Man, they built some leads, and we talked about how they aren't necessarily able to close games out, but when you have nearly a 10,000 gold lead at 17 minutes, it is so difficult to not close out these kinds of games. Arta looking to push in the mid lane now. Name Not Found and Selmy are here to defend.
Yeah, and when pretty much everyone here on Aether is
bye-bye. At this point, none of these squishy members of Kiss can step up to Arthur, they just get deleted in one rotation. That rise is so huge.
Just doing way too much damage. Name Not Found did actually just drop him in the bot lane not very long ago either. Step forward and paid for it, getting a little bit too far forward yet again. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Wade still just shoving this in. A 90 CS advantage for him so far.
Oh no, forced to use the ultimate in mid lane, but it's going to get caught by the death sentence right after. And Wade finishing that kill off. Kona struggling right now, 2-6 and 3 on the Lysandra. It's not been able to get a whole lot done in these fights as he's just not tanky enough yet. Lysandra likes to build some of those health items, you know, like the Rod of Pages and the Leandry's Torment to help him buy even more time in those fights, survive a lot longer. But with just the Zhonya's available, he just isn't surviving long enough in these fights to get multiple rotations of his spells out. He really just has not been as effective as Kiss needs him to be. The death sentence is going to land on the Selmy, and they are going to go for the doctor. Will buy a little bit of time as Tiger and Silvercat are caught in there. And here comes Straight He's going to get the taunt on the Silvercat. Silvercat pulls a flash away, but will go down to Selmy. And here comes Phantom, and he's stepping a little too far forward, but the way is going to go in, and Arta deletes Name Not Found again. Azrath gets the ultimate onto Phantom, but it is going to be enough. Blue Pain doesn't survive as long, doesn't have the damage. Phantom walks away from that kill a little too early, but is able to finish it off. The way forces the flash out of Tranquillo. They go down under the tower, is just able to back away. Arta takes down Kono, and Kiss Gaming members are just dropping all over the place. The double kill for the Rise. And that's 11 now for Arta, so looking at push for an inhibitor tower on the bottom side. 4 members here for the team as Sobercat is returning from base, but they're looking for an inhibitor tower. Selmy, the only one here to defend, does get the stun on Arta, but isn't going to be enough as Phantom able to take him down. Now Phantom wants to chase down Name Not Found. That's going to be the Blade of the Ruin King active. Is it going to be enough? It's not. The double kill for the Vayne as Phantom now 5-0-5 hasn't even dropped this game, and they're looking for an inhibitor. Sobercat is in the mid lane with a big minion wave, and they're looking to push.
Yeah, we'll get the bot in him off of that. A lot of fighting happening this game, and it's gotten to a point where Ace is just starting to build up such a massive lead, and specifically onto Arta here. 11 kills so far. Pretty much like you mentioned, just able to basically go through his spells one rotation and just one shot. Squishy targets here, maybe not.
Sentence lands on Kono. Here comes the fight. That's going to be the blend. Kono buying some time with Zhonya's. Phantom trying to get away from the ult from the Pain is on him, but he's going to burst down. The shutdown on the way could be this is a fight for Kiss. Phantom and Arta backing away a little bit, but they're going to turn for Kono. Kono flashes away. He is burning down from minion aggro, but just going to get the survive. His Name Not Found has to flash away from the Rise. He knows how quickly he can go down, and Phantom has to be careful here. Avoid the positive finding from Selmy, and they're still looking for their second inhibitor. Do they rotate to the top side as Tranquillo goes down to Arta? Oh my goodness, this Rise so strong.
Yeah, and it feels like Kiss Gaming maybe misjudging the range of that Rune Prison a few times this game, as they step just a little bit too far forward and get caught out. Now 13 kills here onto Arta, and I think for Kiss Gaming to get back into this game, they really need to get a pick onto Arta, like catch him out on his own somewhere, and that would be their best bet at winning a team fight. They did technically kind of win that team fight. However, Aether's sitting with a lot of gold in their pocket.
Aether's going to follow that up with a 22-minute Baron. 17,000 gold lead right now. Aether in the driver's seat, so strong in this moment. I would be surprised if they didn't finish on this Baron push. They're looking to get it going in the top side. They've already taken down the bot and middle inhibitors, and they're looking for a third.
Yeah, and with both of these inhibs down, they really don't need to be all that aggressive on this. They certainly can be. They're far enough ahead to be. But at the end of the day, they really could just wait until these supers start pushing in, and Kiss Gaming will need to send at least 1 or 2 people over to deal with those. Turret already sitting below half health up here, so should not be too many waves for it to drop, even if they choose to take the safer route.
Oh man, they're gonna go all the way in though. That's gonna be the ultimate fit in the base. The Bard ultimate will buy some time. Trank here gonna try and get away, but it's not gonna be enough. Either esports able to get the ace and the win. Finish off his gaming. Finish off their week for the second win.
Yeah, that was just a pretty solid dominating performance there from Aether. Couple of good moments early on from Kiss Gaming. Kind of got shut down going into the later part of the early part of the mid game area, but there was some bright spots throughout that game for them. Just once Aether got that lead, they just did not take their foot off the pedal and pretty much continue to force their way into the base and ultimately win, as honestly Arda having a stellar performance here on this Rise pick, essentially one-shotting targets there.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about one-shotting. I want to take a peek at these damage numbers, and you look at the side of Aether Esports, all below 9,000 damage. And then you have three members of, or all members of KISS, excuse me, below 9,000 damage. And then you have three members of Aether hovering around 10 to 11,000. And then you've got Arta at nearly 30,000 damage in a 23 and 22 second minute game. That is ridiculous. That Rise.
That's a lot of damage.
So big. And that shows too that not only was he strong and like able to do a lot of damage, but he was consistently playing aggressively enough to go in and just like, I'm just going to delete you. I'm going to if you come anywhere near me, I'm just going to kill you. And that's it.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage for a 23.5-minute game. Honestly, like, he's 20,000 above the next person on his team just about. That's actually really, and like, you see him one-shotting people. Like, I've had so many games where it's like, I feel like I did a lot of damage, and then I look at the end and it's like, well, I thought I did more than that. But but this is one of those games where it's like, you see it happening, and then you look at the end and you're like, oh my god, he did that much? Like, just really, really impressive numbers there.
We can take a peek at the vision scores as well. These ones won't be as crazy considering how short of a game it was, but still support's leading the way. 43 vision score for Tiger and Selmy with a 32. Let's check. Let's see how tilted I need to be. Oh, Arta. All right, you did enough damage for me to give you a pass, but in my opinion, never a reason not to buy control ward. Buy control wards, guys.
You had lots of gold
later
in your pockets.
I guarantee you there was a point where he left base with at least 75 gold. Just buy a control word, guys. That's just help your team out. Do your support a favor. This isn't season 2. We can everybody can get wards.
I miss those times.
No, I don't. That was a terrible
Making
time
Mason
to be a
buy
support.
all the wards.
Season 2 and season 3 were terrible.
It's a great time to not be a support.
Yeah, it was, sure. You didn't have to touch wards ever.
My point exactly.
Oh man, crazy game there. Aether Esports able to pick up their second victory of the season on the back of an MVP caliber performance there by Arta. 16, 1, and 6 on the Rise. As we mentioned, nearly 30,000 damage in just over 23 minutes. So impressive performance by him. Still good across the board. Tiger with a lot of good death sentences on the Thresh. Phantom doesn't drop in a 5-0 and 8 performance on the Vayne. Dewey 5-1 and 7 on that Aatrox in the top side. So good job by Aether, able to grab their second win of the season and start to build some of that momentum. They're only going to get so many more opportunities in the season to pick up wins, and every single one counts. And you definitely, against a team like KISS, who has been struggling almost as much as Aether, you need to be able to grab those wins, and that one's going to feel good for Aether Esports as they head into week 5. But we are going to head to a short break here, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to step off of the desk, and so will Fridge. But when we return, we will have our next game of the day. Let me pull up that casting schedule just to make sure I have this one right. But we will have, following this one, 3, 2, 1, it is going to be Enigmatic Gaming versus Lobster Gang. casted by Voslo and our good friend Sonic App. So stick around, folks. When we return, we will have that next game for you, and we will see y'all in a little bit.
that we let it go, but we settled for the last. Couldn't let you want it though. Who am I to let you down? No. Who am I to let you down, down, down?
Hello and welcome back to the BSGCS. It is here with me today is Sonic Abs and it is I, Voslo, casting as your play-by-play caster today. First and foremost, we have our game today of Enigmatic Gaming versus Lobster Gang. And Sonic Abs, what do you think about this game that's going to be happening?
I feel like it's going to be very interesting. I want to see if these teams are going to pull out, maybe a Bruiser bot lane, because we know our Overlord really likes Scion. So I want to see if Enigmatic Gaming can pull off a Bruiser bot lane, because I'm pretty sure Blaze, or Shuno I should say, would be down to do something like that.
I'd really like to see something like that. I know is a good AD carry that's very good in follow-up and things like that. I don't know if I would like to see him on a Bruiser. I think a good solid AD carry with a good safe lane phase would probably be something that would be feel more his style, especially if he has something that could really engage with the Scion. But I'd love to see the Scion from Army Overlord. I think that would be great fun.
Yeah. The other thing I want to see is if, Goku over here can go Super Saiyan and just take over the game as well with some of the champions that he likes to play.
Absolutely. He tried yesterday, tried getting that Ultra Instinct, but couldn't master it. So here we are now. But I also would really like to see what EG sub Hikari can bring to the table. I don't know much about him, and it would be great to see. And also, on that note, Lobster Gang is using an E-sub and will be losing their first ban from their new support that they're playing called Silent Blue Death. I don't know anything about him, but I'm hoping to see great things out of him in the bot lane as well.
Well, if his name's Silent Blue Death, that means I'm assuming he's a death in the bot lane, so he probably plays mage supports or something like that. Calling it right now.
Ooh, that's what I would assume as well. Maybe see something crazy. Maybe we'll see something, right out of left field. Maybe a brand or something. I've never seen that before in the bot lane.
No, watch it. It's gonna come out. He's gonna be playing Kassadin support. Calling it.
I feel like that would be a crazy time. Oh,
Yeah.
It is 2 bans for Lobster Gang. I just don't know how to count. Whoops.
Stay in school, kids.
Absolutely. Listen, all right? I'm working on it, but first and foremost, once I learn my ABCs, eventually I'll get to the counting prospect, and then maybe I'll get me a Hooked on Phonics book, and then I'll learn how to read. But right now, we're just going to go with what I got.
All right, here we go. Into the draft phase we go.
Absolutely, and EG's draft pick ban phase is something I'm really excited to see, and we do see immediately the Yasuo ban from Super Saiyan Goku. He played really well on it yesterday, and it's something that I really liked watching, but I guess I don't get to see it again as Shuno is paying a lot of attention to his opponents.
Yeah, and also at the same time, even if Goku didn't take it, you can also take Yasuo as ADC as well, because it's also still pretty good still at the moment.
Absolutely, I agree. I don't know if Watt plays it much, so there's that. But as we see here, Lobster Gang giving up their bans. They do have 2 E-subs as before, as I mentioned. I don't know how to count, but I was corrected. Thank you very much. And we do see a Kaisa ban as well. Wah still not allowed to play that champion.
Yeah, I think that's his best ADC at the moment. I think if I remember correctly, his KDA was actually really good on Kaisa, so I don't think most games, if you draft well, I don't think he'll ever get to play Kaisa in a game.
Yeah, it's something that you notice that he's performing much better on than any other AD carry. It's just something that you just don't want him to have. Something that you're just I wonder if we'll see Wah on his Ezreal again. Something he's continuously played when he doesn't get the Kaisa. Makes sense. It's nice and safe. And an Ornn ban away from Train Game. Not really wanting to deal with it. Not liking the pick. It's all very annoying to play against in the top lane. As someone who did play that champion when I did play in the top lane, it's a lot of fun.
What I'd like to see Wah play is actually Lucian right now.
I'd like the only ban from Lobster Gang's side is the Scion. Army is not allowed.
Well, he does almost have 1 million points into that champion, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I believe he was sitting at around 800,000 last I saw. So he's got a couple of games, like 3 or something. It's a decent amount.
Maybe like 300.
Yes, something like that. And then we do see
the Ezreal for Wah.
And a Zoe first pick for Diffurion and the Ezreal for Wah. Nothing really surprising here. We do see Akihiko hovering on the Trundle, probably the best jungler of this patch, and it is taken. What do you think we'll
I
see
would-
return?
I wouldn't say Trundle's the best jungler of this patch. I'd have to give that to Graves, but he's part of the Trundle is, in my opinion, part of what I call the Trinity Force, which is Xin Zhao, Graves, and Trundle.
Absolutely, I agree. Trundle just I feel like has the best scaling as well as a decent dueling potential. Does lose early to those two duelists, but later on in the game, Trundle is just a monster to deal with. And we do have the classic bot lane of Lucian and Braum answering that Trundle and the kiting potential it provides in the lane priority.
Yeah, there's not very at the moment, since there's really only Ezreal and Kai'Sa that are really good at ADC besides Lucian, and then like maybe you could throw MF and Jhin in there. There's not really another like duo that can actually full on just fight in a 2v2 bot lane with against a Lucian Braum. It's too hard to try to outtrade them.
I feel like the only champion that could probably do anything really, really well into that lane might be like something like a Zyra. Zyra does pretty well into both those champions, having a good safe poke distance. And if you can poke down Braum and proc Guardian before fights are taken and is able to get to level 4, Zyra has a lot of burst potential that is really strong and something that we might see, but I don't really know anything about Silent Blue Death or his champion pool. And we did see an Echo picked up as the last pick for the final rotation of Lobster Gang and a Jace ban against Night Show.
Yeah, Echo's apparently starting to come back into the scene of things. I think it's because with what's being played in the mid lane, he's actually a really good counter to it. Like, you have Ibrella, you have Zoe, because if they get their full combo off, they can just click R, back out, tap all of his health back, and then start refighting again.
Absolutely, I agree. Echo also being very good into the Zoe, having a short cooldown dash that can easily sidestep. If you're not very good at sidestepping in yourself, you can always rely on the E proc to dodge out of the sleepy trouble bubble, getting you out of sticky situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Yeah.
final ban for Lobster Gang, and we have a Zac ban. Doesn't want to see Hikari playing that.
Yeah, he's really good in competitive play at the moment for tanks, because the only tanks you could reliably play that are actually CC monsters is like Sejuani and Zac. Skarner's still played because Skarner's R is just really annoying to deal with, and it can force all the opponents to buy a QSS, which then that delays their scaling if they have a scaling comp as well.
But nobody's really playing it. He is truly the last of his kind, and a Taric pick. I like that pick here as well. It's decent into a Braum lane, getting the ability to get that two-man dazzle, especially if you can coordinate very well with your AD carry. And we did see a Mundo ban from EG as the last ban. How do you feel about that?
I feel like Mundo's really hard to actually deal with. Even if you have a Trundle, if Mundo just clicks his ult and Trundle's ult's still on him, he still regens so much health, and it's still so hard to kill him even after he's still half of his resistances.
All right, Mr. Jungler, how do you feel about the Kindred blocking?
It's I don't know. She's really bad.
She's a duelist jungler that cannot really duel very well, and they do hover a Shen, which I do like picking away from.
The only way this Kindred is gonna win before level 3, because Trundle, if they fight at level 3 and she plays it correctly, she can kill Trundle easily. If she just waits to use her Q after his pillar has already been placed, because she's able to either escape or wait for help. But if she does it before, she will die. I have killed Kindreds like that because they use it before, because they'll Q towards me and then she just ends up dying because she can't kite because of the pillar.
Yes, that sounds about right. The Kindred pick, I feel like, was a little crazy, but I kind of like a little bit of crazy. It gives it an element of surprise. I think it's a neat champion pick that could be shown here. I like the Shen takeaway because Train Game has had an excellent showing on the champion, and taking it away last pick, I feel like, was very, very good and something that Train Game really likes. But Train Game does, however, counterpick with a Gnar, and that should be lots and lots of good CC that he can provide if he's able to coordinate the Mega Gnar properly.
Yeah, between the two team comps, I understand what Lobster Game's trying to do. They're gonna just full on, we're gonna go in there, Tark, we're gonna fight you and see if we can kill you before it comes out. I can't really tell what EG is trying to do at the moment, because you have a Shin who's really good at team fighting, but then the only other two champions that are really good at team fighting is Lucian and Braum. Kindred's good at a one-on-one, and so is Zoe, but in team fighting, Kindred's ult is like a double-edged sword, because it can keep you alive, but then it keeps your enemy team alive as well.
I feel like EG is very clearly showing their hand. If you can Imagine a 1-4 split push comp with a Kindred sitting on top of them, and Braum having great disengage into the same thing with Zoe, Sleepy Trouble, but believe you have to walk into the Zoe to get this engage off. They do have good flank potential from Echo, and maybe a good flank war from Gnar if they can get that going, but it'll still be pretty hard to engage on them. And even if they try to get that finalized kill, Kindred can show up and last minute save his AD carry or his mid laner or support anybody that gets caught while Shen is able to get a good split push going if he is able to get ahead of the Gnar and will be the point of contention in this game.
That was really fast, not gonna lie.
Thank you. I talk
did
fast.
did you have that written down?
I did not. I came up with that by the seat of my pants, friend.
Oh man.
Just boom.
Alright. So in your opinion, which team comp do you think is better for what they're trying to do?
For what they're trying to do, I feel like Aegis composition is harder to pull off. So if they can pull it off correctly, and if Nitro is able to get ahead of Train Game, will be the deciding factor of this game. If Shen is able to get a good split push going into the Gnar and is able to get good engages onto the Gnar, will be very important. So I feel that Lobster Gang has the opportunity to take this game with stride, just based on the fact that the Gnar will have a stronger laning phase into the Shen normally, and it'll be pretty easy for Trundle to counter gank a Kindred, considering Kindred's pathing would be very telegraphed due to her stacks and where they will go. Chances are she'll want to gank around her stacks and wanting to do that so she can get lane priority to get the stacks.
Mm-hmm. Now I've also realized that Lobster Gaming has also taken double teleport, so I can see at some point, like when top and mid are both hit level 6 and bot lanes also level 6, I'm pretty sure they might try to 4-man TP bot lane at some point, or maybe even 5-man bot lane, have Trundle down there as well. Do you think that's going to happen like as soon as they hit level 6, or do you think they want to try to prioritize something else?
Maybe. I feel like most of the time in this league, you don't really see a good coordinated 5v5. Chances are, I imagine that Echo will maybe take a bad trade into the range of Azo and maybe use the teleport early on in the laning phase so that he can get a good item that'll get him an advantage in the lane, maybe like a Dark Seal, maybe another a Corrupting Potion or something like that that'll help him in his laning phase very directly, and then he'll probably TP back to lane. But he does also have a good roam potential on that champion. It's something that we might see. But I don't think we'll see a double TP bot lane like around level 6. I think if anything, if we do see anything happen around level 6 in the bot lane, it'll probably be something that Gnar will be able to dictate after Akihiko is able to get a good gank off in the top side.
Okay, it looks like we got 10 seconds to the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see in chat who do you think's going to win, EG or Lobster Gaming. Let's see it right now. Go.
Absolutely. Maybe some gimpy things in this chat. Show everybody what you're thinking about in this game.
And if you also think Goku is going to go Ultra Instinct, I also want to see that in the chat.
Absolutely. That would be wonderful. Get everything going on. And now we get to see our favorite part of critiquing masteries.
And see who has the best skin.
Of course. This is my favorite part. Always have to have that Skinnergy going on.
Yeah, your favorite part's not even the gameplay. It's all about the skins.
And also talking about who didn't buy a pink ward at the end of the game. Bunch of. We do have a press the attack on Gnar, which I like into this matchup specifically. I think Seminary might be a little bit better, but I think press the attack is fine because he wants to get as many auto attacks and poke Shen out of lane really early on.
He's just got to make sure to use as much range as possible because Shin did take grass, and if Shin gets the taunt off, he'll definitely be able to outtrade the mini Gnar.
Absolutely, we'll get a good trade-off. That'll be very, very nice and exciting for Shen, especially if Hikari is nearby. You will have a great time in that regard, but first we do have everybody loading in, and I do see some red pings off to by the river brushes. They might be pinging something along the lines of a 5-man to block any sort of invade. But we do see EG all pinging the top side. We see them all going together. They might have some level 1 shenanigans.
Let me ask you, do you think Exton's playing in this game?
I don't think so, and I definitely do not believe he is, considering I see no Garen pick here. They do see the war, they do get the war, they know they were.
But there is the full party Tark, though.
Oh, there is. It looks just like him in person now that I look at it. I didn't realize at first in the bot lane, but whew, he's not in this game. I don't see him playing Garen with his pool party skin. Ooh, and we do have, it looks like Lobster Gang sitting here in their bot side jungle. Ooh, and a pause. It wouldn't be a duo esports game without a pause. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
There's
Looks like
a
there's
whole
a lot of lag spikes in the game at the moment. It could be because of this, the client's not very good, or at the same time, there also has been some bugs as well in the LCS play, as an example, for with certain champs, and there has been some lag spikes while they're playing the LCS as well. So that could be also one of the reasons.
You need to fix a client. They're just a small indie company. It's very hard for them. It's very hard for them to do that. But something I would like to see, and I feel like Nar started the Doran Shield in this top lane matchup that he wants to be aggressive and push in. Interesting.
He may have done that because he might not feel comfortable in the matchup. Because if he's just been playing Gnar recently, then it's probably the better thing to go with is the Doran Shield. If you're confident on the champion, I would expect him maybe to go like a longsword into 3 health pots. That way he can just pressure the Shin the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could be scared of Kindred because you normally don't see Kindred anymore in solo queue, so he might not know how to play around the jungler, so he wants to be a little bit more defensive in lane.
Maybe he's feeling like he might get ganked aggressively. I feel like it's probably pretty good if you also account for the Kindred and the Kindred ganks that, as we did mention, will be the deciding factor on the top side. So maybe we will see, and we do have the game starting right back up right now. We do have Lopcha Gang sitting on the red side of EG's jungle. And it looks like we might see level 1 shenanigans. I'm not entirely sure. Waz off to the side. Akihiko and Silent Blue Death do decide to just leave.
Which is the smart play, in my opinion. They can't duel them at level 1. But they have
Absolutely.
total vision control in the spot side jungle, so they'll know exactly where Kindred's going to be pathing.
Absolutely. They'll have a damn good idea of what he's going to be doing. And Akihiko, not really wanting to take the aggressive trade, will just go for the leash, do his jungle clear, and what he can do. We do have just champions just pushing in the mid lane now. Nothing really special going to happen level 1, despite the fact that there was going to be an invade, but we're spotted almost immediately.
And it looks like Trundle might be going for a full clear in the jungle. Kindred looks like she's going to be going straight to Wolves, then blue buff into that Scuttlecraft start, which is it's really fast level 3 in the jungle at the moment. And so you're able to gank a lane as fast as you possibly can that way, but you could lose out in more experience against your opponent.
I really like Akihiko's jungle pathing in this regard because he does know where Kindred's pathing. Kindred does, however, get the stack on the top side, which is really sad. And pretty, nothing that he can really do about it. He decided to go for the vertical jungle. We did see Kindred leave immediately after red, so we'll take both the Krugs and the Raptors, I assume, on the bot side, which is pretty good for him. Kindred, they do have vision of the red buff, and may just go and steal that, as Akihiko has not shown up to it yet, but opts for the blue instead.
Trundle actually could have made it over to that Scuttlecraft. His early game farming is really fast with the W and Q proc. If you know how to do it correctly, you should. The only junglers who could really outpace you is like Graves and Xin Zhao. And I haven't met any other jungler yet to outpace when I play Trundle and as I'm farming to the buffs.
You have not played against a Phoenix Stance Udyr or a Shyvana then, my friend, but...
Okay. No, I haven't.
I can imagine, because, those are the fastest carrying junglers in the game. We do have almost an aggressive trade onto the Shuno, trying to get that max range dazzle off on Shuno. Doesn't land it, doesn't get much going. And there's not really much happening early on in this game, just a bunch of farming. Nobody really wants to take the aggressive trades. We do see something happening in the mid lane a little bit, trying to get something going, but Super Saiyan Goku doesn't really care. Devurian going a bit room, getting a good electrocute proc onto him, and nothing to be done there.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Goku is actually doing the right thing in my opinion in this matchup. He's trying to fight early on, although he might die right here.
Super Saiyan Goku does immediately get flashed and ignited on by Diffurion. There is a flash in the mid lane, doesn't die, does survive. Nothing really happens. Full summoner's blown from the Diffurion, but he still has Goku's flash, but Goku will just go back and TP back in, excuse me. So he should be completely fine. He has 17 CS. He'll probably come back with an amp tome, maybe a potion if he's lucky, or a fillable potion, even better.
Yeah, he's gonna use instant transmission real quick.
Come right back to the mid lane and show him how he can farm and how he can do whatever training that he needs to be before he becomes the Super Saiyan that he needs to become. And, you know, just farming, just farming. Welcome to the League of Farming, friends.
Yeah, who's not really farming that well at the moment is Train Game. I think he needs to pace his farming a little bit better so he can get this lead in this lane. Because if he's gonna shove it in, he's got to make sure to hit that CS count. Because if he does it, it's gonna be not worth anything. You just kind of a waste of time in my opinion.
Absolutely, if he's unable to deny CS from Night Show, it will be very, very hard for him. Wah, however, also having some issues in bot lane farming, just did get denied some from the Shuno and Braum. Bot lane being very, very strong and aggressive early on, was able to deny Ezreal early, especially before he gets his gear. Doesn't have like the best time. Shuno, however, walking up aggressively, does eat the Mystic Shot right to his face. Didn't really like that too much.
I feel like
but...
they should go in right now because he has no E.
And Goku is here. He is got the flank, and he is right here. Does get the one-man stun onto Army. Shooter does flash. Get ignited too as well by Silent Blue Death, and the ignite gets the first blood to Silent Blue Death. This E sub is gonna do great things for him, able to get that two-man stop.
That was really well played. Now what they need to do is Goku needs to sit here with Wa and actually shove this lane as fast as possible and go get that dragon, which is now what she's starting to do.
Absolutely, I agree. Here he does lose his mid wave, and that's going to be really, really sad for him. And his back did get canceled by the minions. Doesn't help him. Doesn't help Wa Push. Decides that he's just going to sit here. And Akihiko does get the mid wave. Does get that experience, so it doesn't go to waste, which I think is pretty good here. Getting the dragon, I think, will be great. It is, however, just a cloud. And they don't really need too many early game rotations on this team.
If in my opinion, if a Trundle can gank more than a Kindred, then that's even more scary than a Kindred ganking more than a Trundle.
Absolutely.
Because that pillar can be, if you place your pillars correctly and they don't have flash, you can trap two people at once with one pillar against the wall, and they will just die. They can't move.
Ooh, and Train Game going for an aggressive trade, does use the Gnar on Night Show right into the wall. Doesn't get too much going, does however get the Hyper Proc. No more damage to the Night Show. Night Show's probably fine. I don't see much of anything happening. Akihiko doesn't really have the potential to dive here. He just has the Chilling Smite and boots one. Doesn't have too much going for him. I think Night Show just really wants to back as soon as he gets the item spike that he's looking for and continue back in. Nothing really happening there.
If Trundle was level 6, they probably could have gone for it with the extra resistances and health that he'll gain off of the Shin. Because no matter what health the amount of Shin is at, it's all based off of your base health, not your actual health.
Absolutely correct. The max is the important part. Akihiko is passing towards the top side. I don't know if we see him die. There is vision of it. There is vision in the top side of the river. No Kindred spotted.
Like that was fight though.
Game getting his Gnar again, maybe looking for an aggressive trade on Night Show. I don't think he'll get much of anything going here though, as he will have to dive, and I don't think he wants to dive yet with this little HP. And there is a gank onto Super Saiyan Goku in the mid lane. I missed it. I just blinked. Hikari no Sabero able to get his first kill of the game with this sub that he was able to do for EG Hyperion, getting the good assist that he really needed and wanted. Akihiko getting another midway. Must feel good to be that Trundle this game. How jealous are you right now there, Sonic?
Instead of being jealous, I'd be more scared because my Echo right now is down almost 30 farm, and he's missed at least, I think Goku has missed like 2 waves now of experience.
I believe at this point is close to 3 or 4. There was a minion wave and a half that he missed for his bot lane gank, and then he missed another one right there. He did, however, manage to catch this one after Akihiko was able to catch that other one, so that's good on them. They were able to not make that experience go to waste. Akihiko is out-leveling Hikari just due to the passive experience he was able to get, which is good for him, and he is also out-farming.
Yeah, Akihiko is doing really good at denying Kindred these stacks. Because Kindred only has 1 stack at the moment, and there's been at least 4 spots where their stack's been placed. He's been good at denying every single one.
RNGesus right now has been Akihiko's friend, except for that one time right at the beginning where the first stack was on the scuttle when Akihiko opted for the vertical jungling and completely missed that scuttle. which is really, really sad for him. But Hikari was able to happily grab that scuttle. If you get that first stack, pretty good. He just needs to get some sort of ganks off, or maybe try to find this Trundle in his Trundle. Maybe try and fight him if he can, but I don't think he can as of this moment, as Trundle will be out leveling. As we see Trundle trying to solo the Wind Dragon.
Which Trundle can definitely do that as a champion.
Absolutely has good attack speed with his W proc, his Q being a good auto attack reset. Does have the Chilling Smite. They are seen by a Scrying Orb that here and does give off a pretty good Paddle Sword onto the max range, and it is still smited 5. Akihiko right there as a Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land onto Silent Blue Death. There's nothing really going to happen here. Kari's no Severa did have to flash out of it as he tried to go for the Smite Steal. Doesn't get it though, which is sad for him. Zakier and Army are still looking. And Battlestar lands onto Super Saiyan Goku. And nothing else. Maybe Differium looking for more poke. Doesn't look like there's going to be much of a fight. Shuno just wanting to farm in the bot side. Doesn't feel that he needs to roam up to this. As Wad did back, they had vision of the back, and he feels like he can push into the tower.
Yeah, they're just trying to get their damage charts up a little bit. That's all they're trying to do at the moment.
Just trying to pad them stats, feeling pretty good about what's happening. We do, however, actually have some backs finally in the top side, both pretty even on CS. Gnar very close to his Black Cleaver, and Shen almost to his Sunfire Cape, which will be very good, both for pushing and for fighting at both sides of this matchup. I feel like Gnar is not performing to this lane as much as he should with how close his CS numbers are.
Yeah, I feel like Nightshow, if he actually would have gone Bramble and maybe just skipped the boots, because he's going to be shoved in the whole time, so he doesn't really need boots, and he just went Bramble, Bonnie Cinder, Gnar actually would never be able to trade with him if Shin was on top of him. So that's just too much counter damage coming in.
I feel like Bramble or Ninja having the ability to escape the kiting potential of the Gnar, I feel like is very, very important here, but Bramble also, I believe, would also do the same thing. And there's nothing really else happening. We do have a good fight in the bot side. While it does, however, get probably, I believe, the Winter's Bite proc was able to get on top of him. He is pretty low. Silent Blue Death trying to do what he can to keep him alive, and it looks like he is alive. There was no summoners used in the bot side. Heal and Flash both still up for a while, and Silent Blue Death still with a Flash and Ignite. And he does go for the Cosmic Radiance in the bot side, maybe looking to try to force something in the bot lane, but there's nothing really that's going to happen here.
Looks like there could be a fight for the Gromp instead, though.
Oh, maybe for the Gromp, or Hikari is also here, maybe looking for some sort of dive. It is in vision. They do, however, come over. They don't really have vision of Hikari. Oh, they might have on this red board right over here in the river. Hikari does see that and doesn't get awarded and does miss the count. They do still go for the fight over here on the bottom side. Shino not able to get any more damage into this fight. Doesn't have enough mana for it. We do see a TP from Train Gate with his Mega Gnar coming in. We see a Gnar coming in and a good good hop. Doesn't get anything going. Was able to get Blast Coned out. Good on the blue team. EG getting away from that because that would have been really scary getting that 3-man Gnar in such a close corridor.
Akihiko actually misplayed a little bit. He had actually ulted Lucian, which in that situation, like, I can see if you want to try to kill him as fast as possible because you're going to be doing true damage basically to him for a few seconds. But if he actually would have ulted Braum, I feel like he could have just ran straight in there and it would been perfectly fine and just not have died.
Absolutely, and we do have another pause.
Oh.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, there could be a very big problem. Should I say that on stream?
There is a big issue, family emergency, maybe. So right now we do have a duo pause. And we will just be waiting on that. Currently, though, I would really like to talk about that little fight that we just had, the little skirmish on the bot side. We did see a good execution from Train Game, having a great teleport, getting off on the flank, but not able to executing it just properly, able to get that blast cone out just in the last second.
Yeah, I feel like if instead of E'ing in there, I think that's what really messed him up, because he E'd a little bit too far forward on an accident, because I think he got the bounce off of Army. I think if he would have just flash ulted, he would have stunned all of them and then saved his E as they try to use the blast cone. Because you still have vision on them, you can still E over the wall.
apologize, and we'll be right back with you. All right, and welcome back to us with Duo Esports. It seems that the jungler is having a medical emergency with his father and will have something that he has to take care of. We will be forcing a reschedule for this game to another time and date. Right now, it'll have to be, we're going to stop the stream until the next game at least, and then we will have that going. But right now, we're going to have to stop the game and wait for the teams to leave their lobbies.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep, no, not. I was still talking. All right. So with that said, the game was looking pretty good. We had a pretty good idea of what the game was going to look like, and I really like how the game was looking pretty even at that point in time. I'm pretty excited to see how that game will play out the next time it is played.
Yeah, and hopefully Akihiko's dad will be okay with whatever has happened.
Yes, absolutely. I wish the best, and that is very sad to him. Absolutely. And with that said, we will be, however, going on to break until the next game. I will see you guys watching the next one. I will not be casting. We'll have Shuno casting the next game. Good on him. Doesn't get to talk about his game. Be sad for him, but
I will still be casting the next game, though.
Absolutely. Sonic Ads will be joining him, and I wish you guys a great night and have a wonderful evening.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying out.